In this video, we'll laser the back and top. So first turn on the Speedy 300 laser cutter, and the switch is back here. And also turn on the upper switch, the exhaust blower. And finally, turn on the fume hood switch, because that pulls from the exhaust blower. Okay, first thing after it's done its startup routine is press those two buttons and the laser will go through an autofocus routine. Speed it up here. And if that little aluminum bar is in the way, you can use those cursors to move it out of the way. Now you can open the lid and we're going to install the back. Now remember, the good side of the plywood goes down because we're going to be etching on the inside surface. And you want to line the plywood all the way on the left side with no gap between it and the ruler on the left side there where my finger is. And then along that edge and the other edge, you want those to be parallel and evenly spaced. Okay, now since that plywood is warped, as that's a pretty heavily warped one, turn on that vacuum clamp switch. That applies the vacuum to the honeycomb. And then this overlay should be near the laser cutter, and position that as you see here to cover up all the honeycomb spaces, and you should feel it kind of plop into place. The left edge there is flush with the edge of the black ruler, and now with that in place, you should find that there's no gaps between the wood and the honeycomb, so that's what the tapping is for. In terms of the amount of vacuum, you want to see at least 2 inches of water. That's like a manometer reading, and 10 inches would be a kind of a typical, and it could be higher, but it doesn't really need to be higher. Okay, then you'll go to your written instructions to prepare the file for lasering and send it to the laser. Okay, there you saw the table drop. And that's so that these etch lines are out of focus and don't cut into the wood, but just print on top of it. So we're going to do a bunch of etch lines. That's the guitar outline, the outside of the siding. This is the inside of the siding. And then there's another line which is the inside of what we call the lining. And that's a little reinforcement piece for a more gluing area. So there's the lining, and then we're going to do some little lines there just for layout, and here are where the braces will go, and we'll speed that up so that we don't have to watch all that. Okay, now we're lasering the outline, cutting through. That's the red line. And there'll also be a little blue line later on. Okay, turn off the vacuum once you're done. Once the program's done, remove the overlay and remove your part. And then we'll go to repeat that for all 4 backs following the written instructions. And after all 4 backs are done, then you'll do the spruce tops. So here's the spruce with the pencil lines noting the joint between the 2 halves of the spruce. And again, we're going to line that up where my hand is there, and you want to note where the pencil line crosses the ruler. So again, we have it parallel to the edges and evenly spaced, but on the left side it's flush. Okay, then we use our overlay again, and at this point the vacuum is already on, so it will suck it down once it's in place. And tap it to see that there's no gaps. Check your vacuum level, and then again we're noting that ruler reading because we want to transfer that to the computer. Okay, in job control you'll start the job, and then it'll go through the layout lines and a different set of bracing lines, and then it will cut it. And this is going along. And there you see some extra parts it made. Those little parts are needed for braces, so keep those. And the other 2 parts, the sound hole cover is a coaster.